Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I just made a video about He-Man, and I was just thinking, is there anything else to talk about before I put my camera away? And then I found a video on Prodigy. Now, I've managed to ignore Prodigy or forget about Prodigy for the last few weeks, and I actually missed a few news items. Now, what I saw was a video done by Sci-Fi Fanatics, who is an Australian YouTuber. I'm a bit embarrassed by it because he's a bit of a shill. He does interviews with Ketwolski and stuff, and he was speculating what the ship could be. Now, I find he stretches for content quite a bit. He a couple of times I clicked on videos, I thought there was new news, and he was just talking about the same news item and just putting another spin on it to make a whole other video out of it. And this one, he's just making stuff up. He's just speculating what ship could be in this show, because they couldn't have a Starship because it'd be too big for kids to run. So 5 kids, it'd be too much for a start. They wouldn't be able to run a Starship. So he speculated it has to be a runabout Starship, and he was actually speculating that it was the captain's yacht style ship that was underneath Voyager, which we never really saw in the series. And apparently he hadn't seen any of the images of. There's an image of one of the characters standing on the bridge of the ship, and it's actually like a view screen, bridge, like bridge size view screen. So obviously it's not a runabout style shuttle. So yeah, that was a waste of a video. But one thing what I did find interesting was he did comment on the fact that they would probably try and do a new design of Starship because they don't want to pay royalties to the old designers, and also they don't actually have the license totally yet, because even though the CBS and Paramount merged, all the contracts are still in place, so they couldn't use the Voyager one anyway without paying a bunch of money and not being able to license any toys of it, so they wouldn't do that. So it will be an original ship. It could be of any size, but it's certainly going to have a normal size bridge, which the Defiant had, so it's probably something around that size in my speculation. And the two things I missed was they released images, and I say all the time. I got to stop doing that. I nearly said it again. They released a video of not a video, an article looking at all the characters, the actors playing the characters, and there's nothing really interesting there. There's a girl playing the big monster-looking one who looks like the Thing, Rock Tug. I can't even pronounce it now. I can't pronounce her name either. There's a cute black guy playing Dow. His name's Brett Gray. And that's about it. The other characters, yeah, the girl's cute. There's a cute girl playing Gwyn. Old guy playing Murph, which is the knockoff character of the one from the Orville, which was like a gelatinous character. But the only interesting thing that I found interesting, aside from they did also show some planet shots, and the art does look beautiful. They had a bunch of the 4 shots of different planet environments, a mechanical city one, and then just natural environments, and they did look beautiful. The show does look beautiful. And the most interesting thing, though, was the character we all thought was a robot that was seemed to be ripping off one of the animated Disney characters, or someone was saying. I hadn't seen the movie, so I wasn't sure. It's basically 2 arms, 2 legs, around a ball with a light, and people assumed that was just a robot. It's actually a Medusan in an environmental suit that he controls with his mind. So that's interesting, because the idea of dealing with a Medusan as a alien, seeing how they actually live, or how they could live amongst other humans, and how they deal with the whole ugliness of their species, which drives people insane and so forth. I guess he's got a filter. I guess the light is actually him looking out, and there's some sort of filter on the suit so he doesn't drive people insane when they look at him and look into his eye. So that at least is interesting. But aside from that, there's nothing else. There was a little bit of news where they were saying, I've done it again, well, they were talking about one of the characters used they, them, and everyone's like, oh, yes, I identify with they, them. I'm so glad they're doing they, them in a show. I'm like, they did they, them in Star Trek before. They always referred to species that weren't specifically male or female and addressed them in the series. So this is not a new thing. They're just doing it in the current, I have to be called they, them, direction from a character. That is very a now of the time moment thing, which doesn't really I don't think that's really going to be something people are doing a couple hundred years from now, but who knows. The other thing, no, don't have any problem with transgender people and they, them. I personally don't use any pronouns. I don't feel like I need to. I think it's kind of obvious what I am. I understand other people do need to define it for people. That's fine. The other thing someone said was one of the people who runs the show was saying it's going to be the best Star Trek show since Deep Space Nine. Out of all the original shows, Deep Space Nine was the worst. It was the least Star Trek, and it was certainly not the best. It was a good science fiction show in its own right, but it was very bad Star Trek. It was very much land-based for the most part, and then they went into war. They finally got a ship and they went into war, so we never really got to have an exploration or anything Star Trek-like or interesting. It was just a lot of grim, dark, very much today put on a starbase and forced to watch it, and not really anything Star Trek adventure. It's just very much just politics and religion and war, and just not Star Trek. So I never really liked Deep Space Nine. I watched it at the time and I wasn't paying that much attention because I was a kid and I was just watching the pew pew and the spaceships and the aliens basically. But as I got a bit older and I started to look at it, I realised it very much wasn't what Gene Roddenberry envisioned for Star Trek, and what really wasn't what made Star Trek special and made it unique, and wasn't what I returned to Star Trek for. So it's not my favourite at all. And as we see people, the creator Stephen Ira Burr, or his name is, interviewed, you see that his intention really was to make the anti-Star Trek The Next Generation, which of course was pretty much pure Star Trek, because that was the Star Trek Gene Roddenberry got to create with the least amount of interference from networks. So yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it on one level as a Star Trek series, because it's not a Star Trek series. It doesn't have any of the dynamics that make it Star Trek. As a science fiction series, it could still be good. The animation looks amazing. The characters might be fine. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I just missed a couple articles on that, and I thought, well, I guess I'm following Prodigy. I guess I'm going to watch it, so I guess I better keep talking about what's actually happening in it. So, but there's nothing else. We just got a picture of the bridge, looking out at like a nebula, and I think it's the Dow character looking out. We get a close-up of him. He just looks like a purple boy. And then there's the girl. Just close-ups of three of the characters, and the one that looks like the Thing. Just close-ups of their faces. And that's it. They didn't do all of them, but they look like in-episode sort of shots, close-ups. And the animation does look amazing, so at least it will look good. That's all I can say. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Bye.